Hi, my name's Eric, welcome back to my channel. Let's talk about Britney Spears. Today I'm going to react to her 2007 album Blackout and break down the album's lyrics. Before I dive in, let me know in the comments down below what Britney album I should react to next. Check the description box for a link to a list of nonprofits you can donate to. Please subscribe to be here when I post new videos every week, and hit the bell icon to be notified when my videos go live. Without further ado, track number 1 is Gimme More.
It's Britney, bitch.
Every time they turn the lights down, just wanna go the extra mile for you. Cameras are flashing while we're doing the dance.
The paparazzi showing up. I love how 2000s it feels, but still timeless. Just iconic, obviously. And it's a classic double entendre song that's just as plausibly about dancing as it is about, getting it on. But beyond that, it's very much colored by Britney's pre-blackout experiences in her public life. Because the song is preoccupied with being observed and needing a moment's respite from the spotlight, so both dance and physical intimacy capture the freedom and openness of not having the public and the paparazzi on your back 24/7. So the first verse sets up this motif of being watched, and she says, "Your public display of affection feels like no one else in the room." And then on the pre-chorus, she says, "Cameras are flashing while we're dirty dancing." So on the first verse, she had the briefest moment of escape, but now that the lights are on, she's back in the public eye. And then, of course, at the end of the pre-chorus leading up to the chorus, she says, "Feels like the crowd are saying, gimme more." I haven't listened to this song so closely before, so I always just assumed that the chorus was flirtatious, but that makes the fact that the crowd is saying it even more uncomfortable. They're getting this weird, euphoric, almost romantic satisfaction from watching Britney engage with her partner, and they're demanding more of that intimacy. And then we have these multiplying harmonies on the chorus that embody this growing wave of public pressure. Track number 2 is Piece of Me.
I'm missing American dreams since I was 17. Don't matter if I step on the scene, they still gon' put pictures of my derriere in the magazine. Another day, another drama. Guess I can't see the harm in working and being a mama. And with
Good for her.
I'm Mrs. Lifestyles of the rich and famous. You want a piece of me? I'm Mrs. You want a piece of me? Trying and pissing me off. We'll get in line with the paparazzi who's flipping me off. When getting the groceries, not for real. Are you kidding me? No wonder there's panic in the industry. I'm Mrs. Oh my God, that Britney shameless. You want a piece of me? I'm Mrs. You want a piece of me?
Ooh, okay. Yeah, definitely a lot going on there lyrically. Because as usual on track 2, we're diving into specifics here about Britney's public image. And just in general, she's claiming the upper hand over her critics and detractors and harassers. On the first verse, she summarizes her celebrity history, saying that she's been working since she was 17 and that she can't escape the spotlight wherever she goes. And again, it's invasive and lurid. They're taking photos of her butt and flipping her off. So we're carrying over the weird sexual, profane aspect of her public scrutiny from Gimme More. And people are dissecting her personal life, so she says, "Guess I can't see the harm in working and being a mama." So she counterbalances these list of bad run-ins with the press with her own positive self-esteem. The title of the song then is a pun. Everyone wants a piece of her, a piece of the action. They want to take something from her and profit off of her. So she says, "You want a piece of me? Are we gonna have a problem?" She doesn't want a problem because that's how you end up in the tabloids. Track number 3 is Radar.
Confidence is a must, cockiness is a plus, edginess is a rush. People are looking at us. I don't think you know. I just wonder if you know that I'm a radar, 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 I'm a radar. When you walk, and when you talk, I radar got you on my radar, got you on my radar. Think I can handle that, and
This feels like a precursor to like Ariana Grande's Greedy.
On my radar, got you on my radar, got you on my radar. I got my eye on you. Hey baby, whether it's now or later, I got you. You can't shake me, 'cause I got you on my radar.
How have I not heard that song before? Like, where have I been? So this song definitely brings back the idea of surveillance. There's a lot of images of being watched, or specifically of like a clandestine operation. Radar, of course, is another image of surveillance, so I might have assumed that she would be extending this idea of her being watched. But instead, she turns the gaze outward towards this new love interest. And like I mentioned, she expands this idea of being watched from the literal world of tabloids and paparazzi to the world of undercover spies. She did mention on the opener that her lover was on a mission, but here on the second verse she says, "His eyes see right to my soul, I surrender self-control. Catch me looking again, falling right into my plan." She had me in the first half. You almost think that she's falling into the trap of conflating being watched and invaded with being loved. But it's an act. She's using this perception of herself to her advantage. So as the gaze turns away from her, she gains more power over her love life. Track number 4 is Break the Ice. I love the dark minor key of a lot of these songs. Ooh, some beatboxing there. What? I'm still processing. The lyrics are pretty simple, but that melody was so strong. It's so slinky and sensual, but it still had this intensity. I love the minor key. I am such a sucker for a pop song with a minor key. Yeah, I mean, obviously I haven't exactly done a deep dive into Britney's discography, but that is definitely one of my favorite songs of hers. Of course, the expression break the ice typically means just to get a conversation started with someone, but here she extends that temperature metaphor to the entire process of getting this person hot for her. When her partner is hesitant, he's frozen. When they hook up, things are blazing, and so on. Again, she draws a parallel between love and music on the second verse when she says that her heart is beating like an 808, which is an electronic drum. So again, lyrically pretty straightforward, but things are definitely heating up on this album. Such a banger. I am for sure going to be returning to that one later. Track number 5 is Heaven on Earth.
Your touch, your taste, your breath, your face, your teeth, your tongue, your eye, your mind, your heaven on earth.
I've waited all my life for you. Next to me.
Ooh, big Donna Summer vibes here. So in the arc of this album, the ice has broken and Britney now can open up to love. This is yet another song that references, or at least has a similar vibe to I Feel Love by Donna Summer, so I don't think I realized just how influential that song is. But that song is all about the pure euphoria of love, so this parallel, of course, signals us to where we are emotionally. What's interesting is that the typical shape emotionally of a pop album is a V, where we start at a high, then we dip into a low point toward the middle of the album, and then we climb out of it as the album ends, but it feels like this album is doing the opposite. Because we started with Give Me More, which was so anxious and dark, but this song feels like a sigh of relief. Track number 6 is Get Naked, I Got a Plan. I wonder what that plan is. Definitely similar vibes to the opener. Ooh, I like the distortion. Ooh, okay. That sounds familiar. Very cool. Really sticking with that minor key. I love that. Definitely fits the sort of aesthetic and the context of the album. I don't think the melody is quite close enough to be considered a sample, but this song references or at least evokes the same song as Kesha's Take It Off, which is The Streets of Cairo. It's a melody that's been referenced a lot and is basically supposed to represent the Middle East. And the lyrics to the Saul Bloom version of the song introduce the character of a snake charmer who's appeared in different iterations as a belly dancer. So basically the melody is associated with hypnosis or seduction. It even appeared in Lana Del Rey's Music to Watch Boys to. This is all to say that, in case you couldn't tell from the lyrics alone, this is a song about enticing someone to hook up. Shocker, I know. Track number 7 is Freak Show.
10 p.m. to 4, and I came to hit the floor. What you knew before, but if you don't, then now you know. About me and you, doing how we do. Tell the floor up, tell them to make room. Uncool, make it up. Freak show, freak show. We can give them a freak show, freak show, freak show. Make it up, freak show.
Definitely feels like a predecessor to Circus.
Tabletop, freak it so outside the norm. Some superstar-ish, pushing hot Bugatti whips. Uncool, make it up. Freak show, freak show. We can give 'em a freak show, freak show.
Oh, this is a cool breakdown.
Rappers a couple boys to go.
That was really cool. It almost feels like the opposite of Gimme More. Because instead of the public demanding a show, now Britney feels empowered and uninhibited and wants to put on a show. I realize freak show might be a weird way to describe something that's supposed to be sexy, but I think she means freaky in a good way. But I can't help but imagine a carnival barker being like, "You will not believe your eyes! Behold, the beast with two backs!" So this is another step in the progression of Britney's developing relationship with watching and with being watched. On Gimme More, she was pretty obviously uncomfortable with being watched, and the way that she processed that on Radar was by using the gaze to exert her power over her partner. Now she's more at peace with being seen, and in fact, it excites her. Track number 8 is Toy Soldier. Ooh. Got that military drum. Okay, yeah, that was really fun too. So the song in general is about shaking a fake, weak partner and seeking out something better. Her ex, probably in reference to her real-life divorce, was a toy soldier, a childlike replica, and now she wants the real thing. We have this drum beat that feels warlike, you know, like the sort of fife and drum deal, 18th century vibes. She mentions again on the second verse that new Britney's on a mission, so it's becoming more apparent that her experiences with love and fame have fashioned her into a soldier too. I mean, why else would she see love and dating as a battle or a clandestine mission or a power struggle if she didn't feel like her power was taken away from her? Track number 9 is Hot as Ice. Yes. Here, we are carrying through some of the lyrical motifs from prior songs, mainly Break the Ice and Heaven on Earth. Britney continues on this path of self-aggrandizement and self-empowerment, saying that she's a star and she's in control. And on the chorus, of course, she says she's cold as fire and hot as ice. These contradictions tell me that she's not just one thing, she contains multitudes. And then she says, you can look, but don't touch. I think this is just an extension of her asserting herself, but it also carries over from the idea of observation on Freak Show. She's becoming comfortable with being seen, but she knows how to set boundaries. Track number 10 is Ooh Ooh Baby. This kind of reminds me of Happy Together, more like pop rockish. I really enjoyed the drama and the theatricality of that song. And as far as lyrical motifs go, she brings back the idea of hypnosis when she says on the second verse, of course, that her lover has her hypnotized. She also says that his jersey fits. She's on his team and it feels right. Most of the rest of the song is just about how much she needs this person's love and just praising them. And as you might know if you've watched my other videos, typically with the level of intensity that she has here, I would say that she's being set up for heartbreak, but I don't think that's what this album is going for in its story because, well, first of all, there are only 2 tracks left, but second, we're moving out of this place of discomfort and basically still reeling from the things that she went through, and now we're moving to a more optimistic place, specifically with respect to love. But I guess we'll see what happens on track number 11, Perfect Lover. Oh, we have those gasps again from Break the Ice. Ooh, I like that. Okay, yeah, so lyrically we're pretty much in the same place that we were on the last track, just with increased fervor. And it's a culmination of a lot of the things that she desired on earlier songs. She brings back the gasping breaths from Break the Ice, as well as the temperature motif when she says on the first verse that her body feels like an inferno. And she circles back to Get Naked when she talks about getting naked. So the perfection comes from all of these elements that she's been looking for converging in one person. No one's watching, no one's judging, it's just her and this perfect person about to be together at last. The final track, track number 12, is Why Should I Be Sad?
They couldn't believe I did it, but I was so committed. My life was so restricted for you. Seen my thousands, said it all. All my life prepared to fall. Even screaming, damn it for you. While I was crying, frantic, was it true? Why should I be sad? Heaven knows. Just take it all as a sign that we're through. Goodbye, now we meet alone. Brittany, let's go. I sent you to Vegas with a pocket full of paper. Even got the truck Ferrari filled up my garage for you. Why should I be sad? Heaven knows. From the stupid freaking things that you do. Brittany, let's go.
Is that Pharrell?
Don't you worry about our angels. I don't get good guidance and we train well. Don't worry, I'll keep a little secret when I ask this question.
Okay, and that is how the album ends. While it feels like a more meditative and emotional coda to the album, I don't think it's sad outright. Instead, it feels like an extension of things falling into place. Because most of the album was escapism, love and dance and celebrity and luxury and empowerment, all being written over this real-life story of a very public hard time. So it makes sense that once she settled into the feeling of being at peace with her public image and her love life, she would have to confront some deeper feelings of loss and regret. She's still in the same unbothered mindset, just with the added ability to address her sadness and negativity head-on instead of blacking them out. Overall, Blackout was super fun. It had so much detailed, forward-thinking production and lyrics that were vulnerable without being self-pitying. There were a lot of highlights, but I think Gimme More and Break the Ice probably are the two tracks I'll return to the most. But overall, I'm really pleasantly surprised at how consistent and cohesive this album was, and I think it was a really great introduction to Britney's discography, so thank you to all of you who recommended that I listen to this album, and as always, let me know in the comments down below what Britney album I should react to next, and what other topics you'd like to see me cover on my channel. Check the description for that donation link. Please subscribe to be here when I post new videos every week. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you are staying safe and healthy, and until next time, that's it.